Hey, what's up, future doctors? Welcome back to DRPrep, your one-stop channel for crushing medical exams. If you're preparing for FMG, NEET PG, or any competitive medical exam, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we are tackling one of the absolute heavy hitters, the thyroid gland. This topic alone can get you anywhere from 10 to 15 marks across anatomy, physiology, pathology, and surgery. So yeah, this one's a big deal. We have got 10 slides packed with everything you need to know. From gross anatomy to embryology, the HPT axis, hormone synthesis, all 4 major thyroid cancers with a killer comparison table, thyroidectomy complications, and more. Everything is concise, to the point, and exam ready. So grab your notebook, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's get right into it. Alright, let's begin with the basics. The thyroid gland. Imagine a butterfly sitting in the front of your neck. That's your thyroid. H-shaped, brownish red, and one of the most vascular glands in the body. It lives in the anterior neck, spanning from C5 to T1. You have got 2 lateral lobes connected by a central isthmus. And here is your first exam pearl. Write this down. The isthmus overlies the second and third tracheal rings. This gets asked all the time. Dimensions: 4.5 by 1.5 by 1 centimeter. Weight: 10 to 20 grams. Small gland, massive clinical importance. Some people have a pyramidal lobe that's a remnant of the thyroglossal duct extending upward toward the hyoid bone. And Berry's ligament, the posterior suspensory ligament, anchors the gland firmly to the cricoid cartilage. Surgeons need to know this cold. Now the embryology. And honestly, this is like a migration story. It starts around the 3rd to 4th week of gestation. The thyroid diverticulum buds off from the endoderm, and yes, endoderm, not mesoderm, at the foramen cecum, right at the base of the tongue. This is the medial anlage, and it gives rise to the follicular cells. But here is the twist. There is a second source, the lateral anlage. These are the ultimobranchial bodies from the 4th pharyngeal arch, and they give rise to the parafollicular C cells. This is a classic exam question. C cells come from the 4th arch, not from the floor of the pharynx. The gland then migrates downward through the thyroglossal duct, which normally disappears. If it does not, you get a thyroglossal duct cyst, the most common midline neck swelling in children. And the key differentiator, it moves with deglutition and tongue protrusion, both. Now we are entering surgical territory, the neurovascular anatomy of the thyroid. 2 arteries, the superior thyroid artery, first branch of the external carotid, the inferior thyroid artery from the thyrocervical trunk. During surgery, the superior thyroid artery is ligated close to the gland to protect the external branch of the superior laryngeal nerve, and the inferior thyroid artery branches are ligated right on the capsule to protect the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Now the 2 nerves every surgeon respects. Unilateral RLN injury equals hoarseness. The vocal cord sits in the cadaveric position. Bilateral RLN injury equals stridor and respiratory distress. This is an emergency. EBSLN injury equals monotonous voice. The patient cannot sing or shout. These 3 scenarios show up in exams constantly. Know them backwards and forwards. Physiology time. The hypothalamic pituitary thyroid axis. This is one of the most beautiful feedback loops in medicine. Here is the flow. Hypothalamus releases TRH. TRH tells the anterior pituitary to release TSH. TSH tells the thyroid to produce T3 and T4. And when T3 and T4 levels rise sufficiently, they loop back and shut down both TRH and TSH. Classic negative feedback. TSH itself is a glycoprotein with alpha and beta subunits. Now here is the question that gets asked in literally every exam. The alpha subunit is shared by TSH, LH, FSH and HCG, all the same alpha. The beta subunit is what gives TSH its unique identity. Know this, it will come up. Let's walk through synthesis step by step. 6 steps. Step 1. Iodide trapping via the sodium iodide symporter. Step 2. TPO oxidizes iodide to active iodine. Step 3. TPO attaches iodine to tyrosine on thyroglobulin, organoification, making MIT and DIT. Step 4. TPO couples them. MIT plus DIT gives T3. DIT plus DIT gives T4. So TPO does 3 things: oxidation, organoification and coupling. That is why anti-TPO antibodies in Hashimoto's wreck everything. Step 5. Storage as colloid. Step 6. TSH triggers release through endocytosis and proteolysis. Quick pearls. T4 is the major product. T3 is the active form. Ratio is roughly 20:1. Wolff-Chaikoff effect. Excess iodide blocks organoification. Jord-Basedow. Excess iodide causes hyperthyroidism in autonomous glands. Both are exam favorites. Pathology time, and we start with the king, papillary thyroid carcinoma. 80% of all thyroid cancers, most common by a mile. The hallmark, orphan Annie eye nuclei, large, oval, optically clear, ground glass nuclei. If you see that description, you write papillary carcinoma, no second guessing. Additional features: nuclear grooves, pseudo-inclusions, and psammoma bodies, those concentric calcified rings. Genetically, think RET and BRAF. It spreads via lymphatics to cervical nodes. And here is the good news. Despite being the most common, it has the best prognosis. Use the papillary mnemonic on screen. P for psammoma, A for Annie, P for papillae, I for inclusions, L for lymphatic, L for least aggressive, A for associated with radiation, R for RET, Y for young females. That mnemonic alone is worth marks. Now the other two big ones. Follicular carcinoma, 10 to 15% of cases. The key fact that gets tested every single time. FNAC cannot distinguish follicular adenoma from follicular carcinoma. You need an excision biopsy showing capsular or vascular invasion. It spreads through the blood to bone and lung. Marker is thyroglobulin. Medullary carcinoma, completely different. It comes from the parafollicular C cells. Marker is calcitonin, used for screening and follow-up. Histology shows amyloid deposits. The genetic link is RET proto-oncogene, and the association MEN2A is MTC plus FeO plus parathyroid hyperplasia. MEN2B is MTC plus FeO plus marfanoid habitus plus mucosal neuromas. Notice 2B has no parathyroid disease. That is the trick question. This slide right here, screenshot it, save it. This is your exam weapon. 4 cancers compared across 10 parameters. Papillary, most common, lymphatic spread, often Annie nuclei, excellent prognosis, RAI positive. Follicular, hematogenous to bone, capsular invasion, FNAC limitation. Medullary, C cells, calcitonin, amyloid, RET, MEN syndromes, no RAI uptake. Anaplastic, elderly, P53, worst prognosis, no RAI. This single table can answer 5 to 8 MCQs. I am not exaggerating. Memorize it completely. And that is a wrap, future doctors. We covered the thyroid gland from anatomy to surgery, hormones to histology, all in 10 slides. Remember, the thyroid is not just another topic. It is a topic that ties together almost every subject in medicine. Master it and you will see connections everywhere. If this video helped you, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to Dr. Prep if you have not already, and share this with your study group. We are in this together. More exam ready videos are coming your way. Until next time, stay focused, stay confident, and go own that exam. You have absolutely got this.